Yeah, I think we are live now, finally. I'm so sorry. Okay, so we'll start from the scratch. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a webinar for the rise of AI adoption in recruitment, rise and impact of AI adoption in recruitment. I'm Said and I'll be a moderator. We have with us three distinguished guests. I would love to introduce Sangeeta, who's Director of Talent Acquisition at Charlie.com. Sangeeta has been leading innovative talent acquisition strategies and brings hands-on experience implementing AI solutions in a high volume and hiring network. Next, we have Krishna, who's CEO of Green Pepper Plus AI. He has been guiding organization through successful AI implementation uh, across various industries and businesses throughout sizes. Next, we have Jyotis, who's the co-founder of Zappy Hire, and he brings in 19 years of experience in IT and AI management. So today, we are going to be over that 2014 and 2025 is the tipping point of AI. Lots of tools, lots of processes, lots of automation, and there were various reasons that contributed to it. Not just reasons, but the people wanting to use those tools who contributed. In our survey that we did, 79.5% of companies are either actively implementing or exploring AI tools in the recruitment process. Right, that's a big number. Almost 80% using AI. So that means 20%. Now those 20%, why they are not using, we'll go over that today. And why the 80% are very inclined on using that. This has been a multifold of 2x, 3x, 3x of growth in last couple of years. So yeah, today let's start with that on that particular topic. So Sangeeta, what do you think was the biggest motivator for those companies wanting to implement AI in the sector? Right, you come from a company which has high volume and high volume recruiting, right? So what do you think is the reason?
So I think the biggest motivator for AI adoption is efficiency and scalability. So see, the AI tools can significantly streamline all the manual processes, like candidate screening, resume matching, initial interview assessments. So it allows the HR teams to process large volumes of applications faster and more accurately. This in turn leads to quicker hiring times and more effective use of resources. So yeah, the main would be enhanced decision making because it helps in analyzing, large data sets to identify patterns for better recruitment decisions, improve candidate experience like automation in communication, chatbot, personalized emails. It all leads to candidate engagement and reduction of bias. So I think combined all this is the biggest motivator to, adopt AI.
Yeah, correct. I think as I mentioned that in our report, it said that 28.9% are using AI because there's a time-consuming resume screening, right?
Right.
Right. And 18% are saying that because we have high qualified, unqualified leads. So to weed those folks out for those roles and then screen them as well, it's taking a lot of time. So that's one of the biggest pain point in recruitment so far, which is the biggest motivator for AI
Right.
implementation. In your experience, Krishna, because you have been guiding organizations through AI implementation, right? So while there are pain points, but those pain point has been existing for a while, right? So and not that automation was not there, it was not accessible as such, but there has to be an internal mindset shift or a cultural shift because so what do you think is happening, right? Why are people pushing for AI?
I think there is a huge foundational shift with generative AI happening, and leaders have kind of realized this with their first-hand experience of trying to work with ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, and Grok, and things like that. And when they get the first-hand experience, they're excited. Why? Because it's the first time that it's becoming top-down. Like they try to use this, do a quick task which they were not able to do earlier, or they were not interested to do earlier, right? And the hardest part of HR being the recruiting is like the sales of HR, right? I mean, you get a lot of rejection from the market all the time, and you have to go through the whole painful process of funneling. I mean, it's just like sales, I would say. And here, leaders, found out that this could be powered by AI. This is not automation. So AI is much more than that. We have seen automation in the last 10 years of how it has kind of made HR and recruiting much easier, but AI is powering the whole game with like exponential possibilities. And like if you look at the last 2 years, LLM's capabilities have exponentially improved, and those capabilities are also getting embedded to any of the AI HR tech products, right? Which enables leaders, teams to look at this as a new world altogether, right? It's not the old world; it's an old new world. And recruiters also finding interesting use cases with ChatGPT, paid models and everything, be it resume matching, be it analysis, be it crafting questions. I mean, even I've seen line managers, people managers are getting good at interviews. Why? Because they're able to drag and drop a resume and ask some very interesting, deep questions to understand the whole thing. So a lot of people are becoming better interviewers. A lot of people are becoming better candidates in the process. Why? Because there is a lot of information available, a lot of preparedness possible with this, right? Which makes it, there are two sides to it. One is that the preparedness is good, but the skills are not enough, right? Secondly, you have the skills there, but a lot of people who are not prepared would kind of not be able to get on to the wave and get the best of benefits, right? So um, a lot of people in the leadership space are becoming AI native in the process. They're learning, they're building, they're experimenting, and they are also experimenting with new tools. They're open to learning, and they are the people who are going to get the most of the benefits. And the best example of any Gen AI bit is that you can go and use a free tool and get to know the real capabilities. Unlike earlier, when the enterprise products used to be very expensive, they had some barriers where only a few people could access it. To even to get a demo, it was difficult. Right now, so the demo is vast now. A lot of people have understood what it is capable of. Now we have to bring it to the specific use cases. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned right. HR is lots of fields into one. It's sales, it's data analysis, right? Because in the end, you have to crunch lots of resumes to find out, okay, this is the best one, and then you go for the review. Then you have to pitch in, etc. So yeah, I think recruiters play more than just interview. They have. I think that is also one of the reason why AI boom, because recruiters don't want to be dependent on the managers who's going to be conducting the final round. They want to know, okay, this particular 10 sets of people are being rejected, rather than getting feedback from the team. That definitely that is important. But AI is able to help me know this 10 people are not correct for the role itself, right? Because they don't have this, they don't have that. So job description matching to resume matching is one of those which is, I have seen particular recruiters use that via ChatGPT. So yeah, and that's great. So I think I'll put up the question for audience as well, right? So there are lots of external pressure, not external pressure, but what is the biggest motivator you think would make you use AI, right? Is it or you face in hiring? Is it talent shortages? Is it time to hire? Is it compliance or DEI? Or is it executive push for automation? So why don't you put your answers in the comment, and we'll in the end we'll see, okay, what is one of those biggest pressure or motivator for facing that hiring pressure. Okay, moving on. So we did a survey in last November, December, where we had surveyed across industries, across geographies as well, right? Close to 300, 400 folks, uh, hiring managers to, recruitment specialists to heads of TAs, what their company was in that particular stage of AI. Before that, Jyotis, in that previous point, do you want to add anything? Right, I'm sure you would have some insights because you talk to a lot of companies who's wanting
Mhm.
to implement AI.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely, because I've been into this industry for last 10 years. So we started with chatbot building way back in 2000, maybe 12 years. Yeah, 2014. That was era of excitement of that technology. Now it is more stabilized. We know all what it can actually do, and identifying the right use cases and identify the actual role of AI in the implementation. It's also very, very important. From all this experience, what I understood is AI can do better in marketing and administrative tasks. if you think these two components, right, it is well blended in recruitment, right? So with that, actually, recruitment is the right process to do the experiments in using AI. I started talking to a couple of CHROs in last 18 plus months. I've seen that acceptance is really, really huge. And but one thing which they are trying to understand is cost versus benefit, what they're going to get it. Second is they have always a question, can I, you know, trust AI in terms of the data genuinity? Does it has any sort of a bias? All this is interesting points to be discussed. But I think, as rightly said by Sankita and Krishna, recruitment is one of the definitely a great process to try out using AI and see how the impact is going to be.
Yeah. I think it's one point where there's lots of manual work and there's too much dependent on one person to do those manual work, and there's no way to avoid it until AI came into the picture. So yeah. So
Correct.
anything to add, Sangeeta? You want to add anything?
No, I think what Yogi said is absolutely correct. AI, as of now, the implementation, the problems that the of lot of data that we are facing can be solved only through AI,
Okay.
and that can effectively increase our work quality and overall impact on the numbers.
Okay. A good segue into that. So one of the first charts I want to show you is, right, what is the biggest pain points in the current recruitment process? So as I mentioned, 28.9 are saying high volume of unqualified candidates, and 18% are saying difficulty in accurately assessing skills. So now this is then interesting. Then it's a time-consuming resume screening process, candidates drop off during process, inability to find niche skill. So while those are neck to neck, but Sangeeta, in your experience, right, where do you see is one of the biggest problems in your sector, in your uh, company size?
I think the biggest problem is the high volume of unqualified applicants. This is a very frequent issue. So, because particularly for roles which have a very broad job descriptions or high visibility, so sorting through the resumes that don't meet the basic qualification can lead to a lot of time wastage. So, this can be mitigated through better job targeting, AI powered resume screening, and clearly defining the role requirements. So, this is the one problem that we face because we have a lot of volume that we hire for, and it's very time consuming. Screening those resumes manually, leads to it's very tedious and inefficient as well.
Okay. So how do you deal this at Shadi.com?
So we have implemented the ATS, which is exactly higher, and it has significantly reduced our time. So we just define what is the experience that we look for, what is our exact requirements, and people who are not meeting that criteria are already put in the ineligible list, and so we get only a pool of qualified candidates, which has really helped us in sorting the resumes and getting only quality candidates, saving a lot of time.
Got it. Okay. Um, Next is we asked them, okay, what is the current stage of AI implementation in recruitment? So for everyone, so that 28.2 uh, percent are considering implementation, while 26.9 have already partially implemented AI in their process. 24.4 are in the process of implementing. 12% have completely implemented AI in their processes, and only 7.7% have no plans to implement. So close to 80% of tech companies or companies are actively exploring or implemented AI. So, Krishna, at the looking at the implementation data, and we see varying level AI implementation. What do you think? Uh, which companies are where? What side of companies are in partially implemented, or what kind of companies are in the process of implementing?
Yeah, so I think most of the enterprise level companies we're talking about, companies with say more than 1,000 employees, have seriously started thinking about like how to use AI, not just for hiring, but even for like having AI agents replacing HRBPs, like HR business partners. Recently, we saw that almost 200 plus HR professionals, mostly HRBP roles from IBM, has been replaced by AI agents in HR, mostly dealing 80% of the jobs which HR BPs used to do are like routine queries and managing people. So now business partners can actually think of more strategic stakeholder management, relationship management, more serious work. Not sure how many HRBPs are ready to kind of, or like ready to do that kind of a job, because most of them are frequented to 80% of jobs are more routine, right? So from the BP to hiring, you will see this change happening. But at the same time, I still feel hiring is the hardest part in the entire process, uh, which will make like some bit of human element to be part of it, especially at the human negotiation level, or at the final, what you call the last mile level, right? A lot of funneling process can be done with AI, like what Sangeeta said, the application process from a large set of data. How do you can get funnel and get to the people whom we can actually talk to, right? Maybe you will miss out some good people in between, but there is some transmission loss all the time. But at the end of the day, you will get some bit of it, right? And from there, you have the recruiters who are not really experienced to handle this process. I'm sure Sangeeta would be agreeing with me on the process. Most of the recruiters consider hiring as a launch pad in their jobs, like the
Right.
initial 0 to 3 years experience, and after that they want to move to different kind of HR. So the people who are in the hiring process right now, be it enterprise teams or be it agencies, they are mostly 0 to 5, right? And they have not really seen all the problems which a hiring loop can actually face, right? So unless you have seen at least 100 times the same problem or 100 different problems, you will not be able to look at it in a clear way, right? So that makes AI a clear candidate for replacing a lot of hiring process work, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, Jyotish, would you want to add something to this? Because again, you directly deal with companies wanting to implement and not choosing to implement as well. Right.
Right. No, I mean, I completely agree with what Krishna said, that 0 to 5 years experience people is always into the recruitment, and most of the time there is a lack of experience driven hiring. Because one of our vision when we started Sappy Hire was, can we change the entire recruitment from a process driven to an experience driven? Because over a period of time we also heard a lot about, let's say, candidate experience. It's turned to be a new term in the, not even a new term, but it's a very important term in the recruitment for nowadays. So how do we do this candidate experience in a scale? It's not a rocket science, of course. Probably giving the right feedback to the candidates, or even at least give them the idea where their candidature are, the status of their interview stage, and so on and so forth. So using all conversational AI layers, we can definitely improve the candidate experience by even just giving the right status during this entire process. That's just an example, right? Very, very simple example. So definitely, the space is going to be a lot of going to be see a lot of changes in near future. And what we have seen is not even 10 percentage, what I assume. 90 percentage is going to come as soon. And for example, at Sappy here, we recently come up with something called Sappy View, which is automatically to the technical interview or a skill-based interview without any human touch. And we recently come up with a more like real human, placing the more or less very real human in the live interview, like what we are discussing. Similarly, you can imagine, Sahid will be replaced soon with an agent, right? So it is not going to be a future thing. It's going to be happen very, very soon. So similarly, we introduce agentic interviews, skill-based agentic interviews soon. So we have seen a lot of adoption in that. So this area of the recruitment, not just the recruitment, but particularly recruitment, is going to see a lot of changes which you can't even imagine today.
Uh, Definitely agree. And those are some great insights, Jyotis and as well as Krishna. And that makes me move to our next segment, right? Which is right. We asked them, okay, what are the areas where AI had the most impact? And 25% are saying that it has reduced the time to hire, and another 25% are saying it's improving quality of hires, and 18% are saying improving job posting effectiveness. And the rest are saying enhancing candidate experience, better matching job candidates to requirements, increasing diversity in hire, and 2% are saying help streamline operation activities. So, Jyotis, where do you think would AI fall into this, right? Uh, Most impact, what do we say is AI's important impact that is happening in recruitment?
Okay, see, I would go slightly different here. See, if I would actually look at it, what is the most important thing in a recruitment process, right? One is speed hiring, the hiring speed. Second is the quality of the hire, right? And the third, we learn from the transactional data created by that hiring process. So if I look, I mean, of course, it's all contributed to that, but these three attributes are very, very powerful in terms of building the right recruitment process in a company. So if I look at it that the first thing is the speed of the hiring. So the speed of the hiring, if you go deeper, then normally see two type of delays comes in. One is the process delay, second is the coordination delay. So in both cases, if using proper AI use cases, these two delays can be largely avoided. So which is impacting the improving the time to hire. If in fact the speed of the hire. Second, um, quality of the hire. So when you look at deeper into the quality of the hire, it's nothing but giving the right information for the decision maker. If, for example, if I'm an interviewer, when I logged into the system or when I logged into the interview, I should be able to get a piece of data or maybe a lot of data points about the candidate so that I can take right questions or I can curate the right questions impact that which is impacting the better understanding of about the candidate and the right hire. So giving this right information and getting the more well-informed hiring decisions definitely improves the overall quality of the hire. And of course, the talent rediscovery also. Many times it's important. A lot of large enterprises sits on the previous data. When I say previous data, it's a historical data of the resumes or historical data of the transactional recruitment data, or it could be job data or whatever. But nobody would look at deeper into those transactional data, understand some inferences out of it. So imagine if you use AI, which can help you to get some real-time suggestions, right? As kind of a Siri layer on top of your transactional data and give us a recommendation to the recruiter to improve the efficiency of the recruitment is makes a lot of sense. I also see a lot of research is happening and a lot of experiments happening on creating on AI layer on the existing HR systems, right? So that is not just the recruitment, right? Recruitment, PMS, and the L&D. Imagine if you have a AI layer on top of all this data or the systems and try to get some inferences out of it. For example, if let's say Jyotis got selected into a particular company, later 6 months, how he performed in that company, and get that data back to the recruitment again and see if that recruitment process was right or wrong or whatever it is, right? And then this large systems landscape clubbed together using an AI layer, getting some real inferences, and convert that inferences to actionable items would definitely give more impact to the entire spectrum of HR, not just the recruitment. And recruitment is not distinct piece, right? It is, you should look at it holistic view on the HR, and then that is where you see recruitment get more insightful and get more important than by looking at a single independent piece.
I think that's a very comprehensive answer, and I agree that while pain points and benefits it has, in the end, what matters is what impact they are giving. And I do agree that faster hiring and quality hiring is one of the biggest impact and ROI that AI could have. So, Sangeeta, talking about that, right? We discussed pain points with you, we discussed that with you. But in terms of, after implementing, what is the area where AI, like, let's say when you go to upper management and they ask, okay, what is the ROI of putting in AI? What is actually like solving? So, where does this align with your impact as well, the company at Sari.com, or is it something else?
Yeah, it has impacted. The ROI is great. As I said, it has reduced a lot of time. The speed of hiring has increased in terms of closing the positions faster. Uh, this has taken over the repetitive administration tasks. Okay, freeing up recruiters to focus on engaging with the top candidates. Focusing more on building the organization brand. So it has helped in automating the onboarding process. So in terms of ROI, it has given us more quality output of recruiters, more engagement towards the candidates, left with time which is now put into more strategic work instead of doing the only manual tasks that they were doing earlier. So by automating and optimizing the various stages, right, we've improved the complete efficiency, ensured faster, more accurate decision making. So it's helped us fill positions faster in a very competitive talent market. So that's the basic ROI that can be said, and that's what we put across to the management as well.
Okay. Yeah, I okay. Moving on to Krishna, right? So, Krishna, AI also has benefits, but there are folks that are not using AI and they see potential negative. So we also surveyed, and these are the results, right? We asked them what is the potential negative impact of AI recruitment. So 55% are saying loss of human touch, and others over reliance on technology, privacy concerns, potential for increased bias, or difficulty in explaining hiring decisions. So, wanted to ask you that when people say loss of human touch, what are they thinking that are they because these are the people that have not implemented AI so far, and because you do implementation or help in implementation or do that, what do you think is your views on this?
I think unlike earlier, like candidates are looking for good experiences in the process of getting hired as well, right? So just like you're talking about user experience, UX is a big area, right? Just like how we talk about employee experience. In between, we have something called candidate experience, like starting from how they're being sourced to till like how they're being onboarded to the whole process. There are various touch points in which actually AI can improve the quality of the candidate experience, right? Even the text or the kind of communication you get from a company or your employer, potential employer, really matters when it comes to the overall experience, right? So I've realized that there has, like in the last 5 years, the candidate experience have gone down tremendously. Why? Because there is very less focus on the candidate experience. Why? Recruiters are not experienced to do that. So there is a significant loss in the recruitment enthusiasm, I would call it like that, to give good candidate experience, right? So immediately what happens is, in a market when recruiters are lesser and lesser, good recruiters are lesser, recruiter enthusiasm is going down. That means a new force will come up. I mean, obviously now AI has taken that place, like be it writing good emails to candidates or sending video links for them to kind of record their videos, or even for that matter instant feedback on how the video was, giving an analysis, right? People are looking for instant feedback right now. Earlier, it was so difficult to get a feedback from someone, like a human recruiter feedback. A lot of people even kind of talked about recruiter ghosting. Of course, recruiters spoke about candidate ghosting, so it's very mutual, right? And now AI is able to fix up all those gaps which humans had earlier, right? When it comes to recruiting, I'm sure that the thing about there are extroverts and introverts. Like I've seen introverts like love the whole AI process. Why? Because they like it to be less judgmental, more of process driven. I've also seen people who crave for some human connection where they can talk to someone, get an validation, or get to know a little bit about the company and all. So there are two sides to it. Secondly, I think in the last 2 years, I think Jyotish will agree to me that the large language models, mostly these tools are relying on, has tremendously improved. Right, it's kind of exponentially improved in its capabilities, be it text analysis, be it voice analysis. So I'm also imagining a possibility where a voice-based recruitment agent will be able to do much better than a human, agent. I'll tell you an example. So recently in Policy Bazaar, they had a interesting thing where outbound leads are being, basically inbound leads are being called by an outbound voice agent, and they had a competition between the human agent and the voice agents. And we found out that there is a big possibility for voice agents to know about 150 plus policies of various companies. They have all the information with them, and they're also natural sounding, which doesn't mean that they had that artificial voice which said earlier. So they're very natural voice, highly empathetic, at the same time highly knowledgeable when it comes to talking to potential customers, right? Similarly, it can come to AI. So today I was you know showing something called Hume AI, which is the most empathetic AI. Imagine empathy plus information, plus knowledge, right? Coming together to give a great candidate experience. People would start loving it. I think we are in that transition stage. It's not yet there, but it is going to happen, right? So, like Jyotish said, the next maybe couple of years are going to be very super interesting in this space, where voice agents will come highly. The intelligent layers are going to, so intelligence and the data is also playing a big role here, right? And the compute power, right, which you're adding to, all making it super interesting for companies like I'm sure SAP here and rest of the HR companies to really ride this wave along with employers.
Yeah, I think you said it well that it's going to happen. It's not that it's an option. It's going to be something that to get. It's no more an edge. It's compulsion. And yeah, on that, Sangeeta, Jyotish, do you want to add anything to this, or do you agree with what and align with what Krishna said?
I completely agree with Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
Another thing I also just want to add here is that um, one area where I see a lot of concern is that where this data goes, right? When we talk about AI, a lot of CHRO was asking about where this entire data goes. Is it the data is secure? Is this system is enterprises ready? That is where we have seen a lot of people had raised a concern. Um, for example, if using somebody using ChatGPT, you don't know this data definitely is not used for other than just responding to your query. Maybe it is used for cross-functional training or used for something else. And of course, enterprises doesn't want to give their data to a black box like a ChatGPT. That is exactly the reason why a lot of questions comes on that side. India is coming as our country is coming up with a different policy altogether to ensure that your data is to stick with India, not going anywhere else, and make sure that the data is not cross used and all of those things. This is a very important aspect which we need to talk about, not just along with the excitement of AI, right? That is one of the reason where we had a discussion internally and decided not to use any external API. Of course, we are not reinventing the wheel, but make sure that the data is secure and put it in the border of our own servers than trusting any other service. So I I am a little surprised to see that one of the questions is not mentioned here, but one of the question I got a lot from this HR is that about the data and the data security when it comes to training data sets, cleansing all this process in AI.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to add to what Jyotish said. So most of these LLMs are now seriously considering, and of course, OpenAI has already answered that question by setting up data, residency in Asia, which includes India, right? Because they feel a lot of enterprises are going to be seriously entering this space, and the first question they would ask is, where is the data going? And then in data residency, makes it easier for enterprise leaders to take that decision. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to ensure very robust data security to essentially prevent breaches and misuse, especially in AI.
definitely agree. So, one of the last slides we have is, so we also asked them, right, what are the challenges they face in AI, implementing AI? So, this were the answers, right? Biggest challenge or anticipated in implementing AI. 28% are saying that it's because of integration with existing system. That is going to be the biggest challenge. Next, I think, how do we ensure that AI decisions are biased? Or how do we measure ROI? Then maybe it's going to be difficult to train staff to use AI effectively. It's going to be there, but are they going to use it, or are they going to just keep in doing manual work? And there's also some concerns regarding candidate resistance to AI-driven process, maybe the cost of implementation. So, Sangeeta, considering you have implemented AI at your end, right? Which of those factors, one of the factors that, okay, is this going to be a problem which you anticipated before implementing, and how is it now?
So first, I think was the culture, the mindset of the people there, because they were used to work in a certain kind of processes. Okay, and then suddenly we got the system implemented. So because there was the mind blockage that will it work, will it not work, how will we process so much of data? So I think that was the biggest challenge that we faced. That will the candidates upload their resumes? Will they complete the entire thing? Will it be a foolproof, plan that can be worked upon? So, while implementing this, were the challenges that we faced, mainly resistance, just because of the mindset. But then we were able to implement it and seeing the changes, seeing the positive impact it had. We were, effectively able to do that change management with the team, especially with the not only with the internal team but also with the stakeholders who are from different departments, ensuring that they understood what ROI will this particular process, help us with.
Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah. So, was integration not a challenge with you?
No, not really, not really. I think the entire process was very, very smooth. I only the resistance of because of the mindset was the biggest challenge. But once that was handled, the integration and everything, it was actually very smooth and done with the training part and everything. It's quite feasible.
Maybe hat tip to Zappy hire for a smooth integration.
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. They actually helped in the complete the entire training and everything always available. That I think helped us a lot.
So yeah, when people actually, not just about Zapier, but I think people need to take that plunge after that, initial
Right,
resistance, and they realize that it's
right.
actually much easier than it seems like.
Yes.
And Krishna, do you have anything to add? Because I think this also is important because without implementing, they don't know what challenges are going to be there. They are anticipating the challenges.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think if there is clear leadership buy-in and if there is a sense of urgency, I think, and then the compelling use case which the product has, right, it'll pave way for a smoother integration. That's what I've seen, right. But again, depending on like what kind of systems they're using, if they're using two traditional systems, it will be difficult. But I think rest of all new tools are all cross. can be cross-functional and can be part of one single ecosystem, right? So we have moved to working from silos to an ecosystem. Like if you really notice, most of the tools are like um, working with each other, like teammates and collaborators. So that is actually making it easier for things. But I said like more of people need to be trained as well. I mean, so I work in the structured guidance space where even if you have a great product, even if you have the entire ecosystem in favor of you, you still need to tell people how to use it, show them how to use it, make it a habit, right? So most of these products require someone to build a habit of using it, right? It can't happen just like one day I used it, next day I can't, right? So it's not an event. It's a culture and a habit. So driving that, like I can see that clearly where how they need to be, going back and trying and using it, more of like making it more like it's like a companion for them, not a threat, right? So a lot of people see it as a companion. Why? Because they save time, they save a lot of energy in doing things, and they love it. I mean, it's all about the reward loop, right? So they get rewarded by the tool and they go back again and again. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I think as Jyotis always says, like AI is going to make recruiters super recruiters. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
Jyotis,
I agree with Krishna on the part that, it has to be a habit. You can't just expect everyone to just implement in one day. So it actually takes a lot of time to get people to start using it as a habit and implement it.
I totally agree with Sangeeta. So, normally when I go and discuss the initial pitch with the CHROs, one request I normally put, there are two type of shift required from a perfection mindset to a progress mindset, right? It's very, very important. Second, a control mindset to a collaboration mindset. These two are very essential in order to bring the changes, especially in the large companies. Smaller organization, SCTCC, people are quite adaptive in nature. They're all enthusiasm in around. But in the larger organization, it is not that case. But fact is fact, people would not always appreciate, even though they know that AI can do that and this. But definitely there is a small second thought. Will it actually take out my job, right? So that we are all human, so that all insecure feeling automatically will raise it. But over a period of time, now it has been changed a lot. They all know that it is going to be a companion. Definitely is empowering the not just the recruiter but all the stakeholders in the recruitment and take the right decision, well informed hiring decisions. Not going to replace it, but it's actually is a tool. It's actually use it as a tool than a threat, right? Yeah,
Right. It will not replace, but I think it will significantly transform their roles to a much better role.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
yeah. So yeah, we hope to see lots of transformation with AI. So we are closer to our end, and because there's a lag, we want to take Q&A. So those who are looking and on LinkedIn, please add your questions and comments. We'll love to answer those, and we cover this next section. We'll those take those, and by the time we'll have those questions, and we'll take up Krishna, Sangeeta, and Jyotis to answer all of your questions. Otherwise, I have lots more questions. So, Sangeeta, we talked about tools and how it's going to be. So let's start with what are your favorite tools? Not just Zappy Hire, which is definitely top of the list, but which tools do you use in your daily process for recruitment in your small, no, small to big problems or challenges?
So, I think my biggest, helper right now in terms of recruitment tool, frankly speaking, is Zappy Hire itself. Okay, which is we are using it end to end for all our interviews, scheduling interviews and everything. Uh, Apart from that, some automation that we've done in Google Sheets, which automatically sends the reports that we have. So that is another tool that we've used. But yeah, the biggest one as of now is Zappy. But we also want to introduce one more about the video interviews that we plan to do that would also significantly reduce our time, which we are in the process of implementing. Because as of now, we have just automated the initial stages of the recruitment part, but we plan to go to the next stage now.
Okay. Okay. And I think that's with the times ahead is going to be a mandatory,
Right,
not just good thing to
right.
have. Uh, Krishna, what do you use any tools?
Of course, I'm like,
I mean,
so I tell my team that I have more digital coworkers than teammates now. So I mean, it's going to be a lifestyle for most of the leaders, like in the emerging space, especially the small teams, right? Um, so of course, I use all the paid versions of these tools for the fact that it kind of is not just 10% better than a free version; it is 10x better. So most of the time, I mean, and these days we have 20, 30, $40 products, which does a lot of work, compared to like what it was earlier, right? And with a lot of capabilities. So ChatGPT, yes. Claude, so ChatGPT for all sorts of reasoning and strategy and, brainstorming, ideation, writing, and I think it's a general purpose technology for me. Secondly, Claude. I use Claude for creating data visualization from plain Excel to interactive dashboards. I use Bolt.new for creating landing pages, creating web apps which can be deployed instantly, right? Perplexity for a lot of AI powered search, of course. So these are some of the tools which I use. Of course, I have a series of tools which I keep experimenting and trying to use. Um, One of the recent tools which kind of really surprised me is the Manus AI, MANUS AI, when you can create a whole website, a 10-page website, by just giving a PDF, a proper website, in a matter of 25 minutes or 30 minutes, right? Which is a true AI agent, right? You give a task and it goes back and does all the things required to execute it, brings you back the real output, right? Autonomously, and it kind of does all that thing. In between, it may check in a couple of times, but yes, it doesn't go back and forth, right? So we are moving from a bit of collaborative tools to AI agents, where an AI agent, so the difference between collaborative tools to AI agents is AI agents does things on its own, compared to collaborative tools where you have to kind of have conversations and a lot of interactions. So like most of the AI experts are now talking about AI agents and using it, starting with, so most of these tools also will get agentic capabilities moving forward, which you will see. Like you will have a full-fledged recruiter AI agent who will do a lot of it until the last mile where someone can step in and do their work, right? So many interesting possibilities. Yeah.
just as a quick, Krishna, I think lots of recruiters are going to go back and say that we don't need actual, employees. We can hire employees. How Krishna said, you don't need a website. You don't need a developer. You need Bolt.
Vibe coding, people call it vibe coding, where can put your prompt and get a 200-line code which actually gets you to prepare a full HTML landing page. I mean, these things are happening right now, but of course there is, I'm sure that in the tech space a lot of programmers use, 90% of them use regularly ChatGPT, Cursor, Claude, to generate code, even to fix code, right? Whatever they've done, right? So it's become part of the lifestyle, of a programmer to go back and forth and do it. Like, so earlier, Jyotis, you remember, like we used to call good programmers 10x programmers, right? There is a
Yeah,
term called 10x programmer. Right now, every average programmer is a 10x programmer with ChatGPT, Cursor, and Claude. Why? Because you're able to produce so much of code, good code, by the way, in the process.
And
absolutely.
in fact, I feel people from a non-tech background also have become coder, because even we use it extensively. We learn to code through ChatGPT, try to automate so many things through ChatGPT.
Absolutely. I also recently come up with something called Notebook LM. I don't know if you know this with the Google. I love listen to podcast. So if you get a PDF or if you get a text format, you can just upload it. It automatically create a podcast and a file where you can, while you're driving, instead of reading, you can just listen as a podcast. So it will convert everything into podcast or the notes and all of things. It's very, very powerful.
Yeah. Now with Notebook LM also added something called regional language, where you can actually listen to those podcasts in Hindi or in any of the languages. They've added almost 25 languages, Indic languages as well. They've also added something called add a document, and you can convert that into a mind map, right? Like so, interesting formats. I think this is one of the most underrated Google products in AI.
Yeah.
Not many people have kind of explored it. It's free also. It
It's
doesn't come.
absolutely free. Yeah. I think it's even a lot of students can use it, because it's actually making everyone's life very easy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, while
So
you're
we
in,
have,
right, so
we have two questions, no?
yeah, yeah.
Saket,
Um,
two questions. Yeah.
so we have a question from Ashok Sharma. So he's saying, how you overcome challenges related to ethical concerns, bias in algorithms, data privacy, and the need for human error. So open to any one of you to pick this up.
So
Okay.
I think, yeah, go ahead, Sangeeta. Sorry.
Uh, so I think the biasness can only be removed if we ensure that the data sets that we're using for training the AI models are diverse and they represent all the groups to avoid, reinforcing any historical biases or use bias detection tools. I think that can really help move out the bias in the algorithms.
And we talked about the data privacy here, as in,
Right.
yeah, so it's very important, as you rightly asked, Ashok. A lot of CHR is also very concerned about the data privacy. And there is ways where we can meet, right? I mean, you don't need to give everything into ChatGPT. Instead, you can create your own environment, very controlled environment, and use the latest AI algorithms within that controlled environment so that data is not going anywhere other than your own server. So, um, of course, as I said, right, this is all some of the questions probably, I mean, not this one, but in future, I'm expecting some of the questions would not be able to answer immediately, but this way will continue. That's most important. You can't, you know, challenge all this way with all these things. We will find out solutions, but this way will continue. This is very important. And going forward, we should be able to adapt to the wave as much as faster. Of course, as everyone says, AI will not replace us, but a human who knows AI will replace us.
Just a quick point here, like, um, I mean, the biases, the hallucination, the misrepresentation, the inaccuracy, all these are like things which are holding back AI's real progress, right? Now, foundational models like OpenAI or Anthropic or Google or Meta or for that matter Grok, all seriously investing into kind of fixing this problem, which means that serious money and serious computing power, serious talent is working on to fix this problem, which means that the foundation model will somehow reach that maturity of giving out output which is far less biased than what we know how now. If you look at last 2 years of ChatGPT's interactions, you would understand that it's matured a lot, right? It was just funny, unreliable, sometimes inaccurate tool to a far more strategic level of tool to many people now. I mean, including big four consulting companies use ChatGPT to kind of create, $5,000 projects. So that means that it's getting serious out there, right? So foundation models are trying to fix it, which means that the growth is not slow, right, compared to any other technology which you've seen, like mobile computing, cloud computing, or internet for that matter. This is crazy growth. Like in the last 2 years, you've seen 400 plus updates from ChatGPT alone. OpenAI has, absolutely in silence, like, and people can feel it while having the interactions with ChatGPT. And it's all user experience based updates, not like headlines on anywhere, right? Like any other technology product. So the users, the pro users are able to feel it every day, the way the reasoning powers have improved, the way the new use cases are emerging, right? So foundational models will take care of a lot of such problems, and all you have to do is to, as professionals, you have to find out interesting use cases and 10x your thing. Yeah, that's how I see it.
think that must answer that question from Ashok. We also have another question from Sarabjit. I don't know, sir. Can we have an AI free job portal for recruiters?
I don't think even if you wanted to have it, I don't think we can have it. As Krishna said, the phase we are going through, it's really unpredictable, and probably I don't know, maybe just parents you will get it without AI, but other than that, all will get with the AIs, right? So it's uh, it's a it's a very exciting time. Sometimes I feel little little I'm not sure where it is going, right? I mean, so that is sometimes even if I'm from this field, it's not given us the time to digest things. It's much faster than what we have seen before. So I maybe next 2 3 years is going to be super exciting. So let's see.
Yeah.
Anybody would like to add? Please feel free.
Nothing? Okay. We also have one last question. I think that's from Sunil. Uh, do we have any full-fledged AI agents for recruitment available today that we can buy off the shelf and start using?
Yeah, there are many tools are available. So we also have something called as Happy View, which is actually a AI agent to do the first level interviews. So you can just use it, buy the credits and start using from the day one onwards. You don't need anybody's help. System will automatically generate the questions for you. So you know that which are the right questions to be put it, and you just upload the list of candidates, connect with all these people and do the first level interview, any human interventions, and we'll come up with the skill-based, language-based reports. Along with that, it's also give the video of these candidates. So not just Safi View, but many other tools are available right now. So Krishna probably wanted to share some of the tools you come across it. Please.
Yeah. So one thing which I've noticed about recruiting AI agents are like it's not free. Like and these are tools which come at a cost. So most of it like has a pricing tier of like $200 and above per user, which means that the tool is going to. So how AI agent market works is like it's trying to see how what kind of human resources they can replace. So if you can replace 100K USD resource, then it would charge say probably 10,000 USD per year. So that's how it works now. I mean, maybe in Indian context it might sound a little crazy, but if you the way they look at it is a 100K recruiter in the UK US can be replaced by a 10,000 USD AI agent, and that's how the pricing tier works. So I've seen a lot, but I've not tried any of it. I mean, in India, there are some affordable options maybe coming up. A lot of startups are working on it, and of course, SAPI Hire has SAPI View as an AI agent, which does. So I don't think the entire process can be done by a single agent. You will have 4 or 5 agents coming together to execute each of it, bring back the results, and that's how it's going to work, right?
Okay, that's nice. We have one more. So does AI using AI help with niche skill sets? Sangeeta, you want to take this? Do you look for lots of niche skill sets and AI helps you get those?
Yeah, it helps in identifying, for example, we have this AI matched resumes on Naukri also now and in LinkedIn as well. So, depending upon the requirements that we get the matching resumes from this job portal as well. So it really helps when you have AI driven job portal, which helps in those identifying those niche skill sets. So it can use, it does use intelligent matching. It matches the entire requirements that we have and gives us a good profile. So yeah, it really helps.
Okay. As long as we are clear and we have enough, I think
Right. We should be clear about the JD, what we want, and then right now, though, I think all the leading job portals are using AI and recommending AI recommended candidates as well.
okay. Okay, that is it. I think if we have more questions, I'll request Krishna and Sangeeta and Jyotis. Please go through the comments, and if there are any other questions, we'd love to put your views on that if you want to answer. Otherwise, we'll just on our we'll try to put it out. That comes the last segment. What do you think is the future of recruitment technology and the thing? We'll start with you, Sangeeta, and then go to Krishna and Jyotis next.
Okay. So what exactly in recruitment technology? What?
I mean,
Uh,
how do you think AI is going to, what role AI is going to play
okay.
in the recruitment technology? Is it definitely there's no question that it's going to be an option anymore, but how integral is going to be? What kind of tools are going to develop? What kind of processes are going to replace?
Right. Right. So I think it would be more of automation and data analytics. So chatbots and virtual assistants, which are there, chatbots are basically they keep the candidates engaged. They throughout the recruitment process by answering queries, sending updates, and everything. Then predictive analytics also is there, which really analyzes the historical data and patterns, and it predicts how successful a candidate can be in a role, so potentially reducing the turnover and improving the quality of the hire. I think then video interviews with AI assisted. So video interviews, I think, will become a very commonplace, wherein the AI can analyze the facial expressions, voice tone, which they are currently doing, and it helps to assess a candidate's soft skills and cultural fit. And the AI tools will also assist in scheduling, conducting, and analyzing this. I think that's one of the things that, and it all also will help in reducing the bias in hiring, uh, like by removing the demographic information from the recruitment process. It will ensure fairness and transparency. And last but not the least, the automation of administrative tasks. It can write job descriptions based on job requirements, making it easier for recruiters to post relevant job ads, automatically scheduling interviews, reminders to candidates, helping in a lot of reducing the time. I think this all are the thing that can be done with recruitment technology.
Okay. I think, yeah, I agree. It's going to play a key role. Krishna, you want to add anything? What do you think?
I think Sangeeta summed up the whole spectrum of entire hiring process, like one by one, and I really appreciate the way it is kind of shaped up well. One thing which I feel is that any task, any function which consumes a lot of energy, right? Human energy or organizational energy will become a natural candidate for AI to play a role, and then hiring is the best candidate for that, right? The whole hiring process, if you look at how many people really want to become recruiters, are getting lesser and lesser. How many recruiters are improving their skills, they are getting lesser and lesser. How many recruiters want to continue in their careers in recruiting, they are getting lesser and lesser. So these are all actually leading to AI super enabling the process. At the same time, hiring still need to happen. Obviously, in the AI world, hiring is a different question altogether, but hiring need to continue, and enterprises can't depend on vulnerable resources like recruiters or people in the space. They need to drive with systems and processes, unlike always relying on the labor arbitrage, right? So earlier it was like 5 recruiters, 25 people, 10 recruiters, 15 people kind of a thing. But right now that formula can't work. So this area would naturally be enabled by AI because of its own context.
Got
Yeah.
it. Jyotis, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
one thing which I am going to see a lot of changes is the experience. Right now, like what we have seen in the data, that most of the people feel that we are taking out that human experience if you're implementing AI. That is going to change a lot because the way I've seen recent some of the demos, some of the POCs, um, it is very similar to human. The way they do the interviews, you can't even think that other side is AI, right? That's a little um, tough situation, but you don't even can't even recognize that other side is not a human. So that level of the human like conversations or engagement is going to come into recruitment. I'm sure that tomorrow there is an agent who is going to be a super recruiter to recruit um, HR agents for a company, right? So it's like agent is hiring another agent. That is probably will come sooner with the right protocol which defined, which the my agent will talk to the other agent and the agents can talk each other. Those kind of world is going to come. It's not science fiction movies anymore. So it's going to happen soon. I mean, you should be um, very much aware of it.
So this, like what you said, is A to A, which is agent to agent conversation, is actually a Google protocol now.
Hmm.
So Google has an agent to agent protocol with almost 50 platforms accepting the APIs, which means it's real now. It is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. So that's very scary, in other words, right? So I have heard that in Facebook there was an experiment happened to define this kind of a protocol, and at one point of time the protocol has been automatically changed between agents. So that means the human cannot decode what they're talking about. So they unplug their entire project. It's not recently; it has happened around 2-3 years back. So building that protocol is one of the biggest threat to human, what I believe, in future. Yeah.
I feel for some reason there's also going to be a AI revolution in terms of for candidates as well. Maybe they could put in the resumes and they could find okay list of jobs where I am most eligible for rather than the other way around. So
Right.
those would also help in not them applying for any random job post which looks very similar to what they want to do for. And then they can okay you are eligible for this 10 jobs, you are location etc. That could also be one of those things
And
that could.
even to an extent where we may even become a hiring marketplace for AI agents.
Yeah, yeah.
If you look at agent.ai, started by Dharmesh Shah, CTO of HubSpot.
HubSpot.
he's,
Yeah.
he's kind of creating a small professional network of AI agents where people can try the AI agent and then hire the AI agent for specific tasks, right? Based on credits which you can buy. Like if you buy 100 credits, it means he will execute 100 tasks for you, right? So AI agent marketplace is like just like Naukri. You get to use AI agent marketplace as well. So these are some of the possibilities, and it's happening. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think the use case are going to keep on increase and increasing, which might not be beyond our imagination right now. So yeah,
Right. Awesome.
that wraps up. I think we had a great insightful discussion, uh 1.2 times. So thanks Sangeeta, thanks Krishna, thanks Jyotis for your time. I think what we talked about is many people had joined and most of them have stayed so far. So the insights you put out, maybe they could feel what they are going through and how can I work on the challenges. How did Shati.com or how did Krishna is helping other companies and what stage of implementation. So that helps. And just for everyone, Zappy Hire is using AI in automating your recruitment process with AI. Zappy View is a video interviewing software where you can automate your video interviews without the need of actually interviewing hundreds of thousands of people at a time. And there are many more softwares and those. So AI is definitely the future. Your recruitment, your ability to match better candidates in reduce time to hire is just one demo away. So thanks, Sangeeta. Thanks, Krishna. Thanks, Jyotis, for
Thank
your
you,
time.
Thank
Sahid.
you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Shahid.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.